The story. War was never supposed to come to the planet Virilon, the jewel of the Cerathian Empire. Its crystalline forests, radiant oceans, and floating citadels were a symbol of peace, until the night the sky itself caught fire. I was there as part of the human diplomatic corps, a liaison to the Cerathian people. But on the night of the attack, I became something entirely different, a man carrying the fate of a queen in his arms. Her name was Queen Aileron, ruler of the Cerathian Empire, a leader both admired and feared. I never imagined she would look to a human for anything, let alone for survival. Beginning, the fall of the citadel. The royal citadel trembled violently as explosions ripped through its outer walls. Aileron's guards tried to escort her to safety, but the ambush was unlike anything we'd seen. Enemy factions, an alliance of exiled warlords, stormed the palace with plasma fire that tore through crystal structures and left trails of burning liquid energy across the halls. I was stationed in the diplomatic chamber when the first blast hit. The ceiling collapsed, shards of glowing crystal raining everywhere. I heard shouting, guards calling for the queen. And then I saw her. Queen Aileron stood tall despite the chaos, her glowing silver armor cracked but still gleaming, her violet eyes blazing with defiance. Even injured, she carried herself like a goddess carved from starlight. But her leg buckled beneath her as another tremor hit. Before the guards could reach her, the balcony above shattered. A massive fiery beam broke loose, falling directly toward her. I didn't think, just moved. I lunged, grabbed her waist, and pulled her clear just as the beam smashed into the floor where she stood. She gasped as we hit the ground, her breath warm against my neck, her fingers gripping my shoulders. "You, human," she whispered, shocked. "You saved me." Another explosion shook the palace. Flames erupted all around us, cutting off the guard's path. I looked at her, then at the inferno spreading down the only corridor still intact. "We have to move," I said. "Now." She nodded, but her injured leg couldn't support her. Without hesitation, I lifted her into my arms. Her eyes widened. No one carried the queen, not even her elite guards. But she didn't resist. She simply stared at me, stunned, as I carried her into the blazing corridor. Middle, through fire and ruin. The citadel burned like a dying star. Spires collapsed, molten glass dripped from ceilings, and firestorms roared through the hallways. Carrying Aileron was both effortless and impossible. Her armor added weight, but something in me, adrenaline, fear, or sheer willpower, kept me moving. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered as fire licked the walls around us. "Because I can," I said. "Because someone has to." Her hand tightened against my chest, not in fear but in something like awe. We passed fallen guards, shattered crystals, and burning banners bearing her crest. It felt like the entire empire was collapsing behind us. When a support beam exploded above us, I shielded her with my body, rolling behind a collapsed pillar. She stared at me, breathing fast, shock written across her flawless features. "No one has ever risked themselves for me like this," she murmured. "I'm not one of your soldiers," I replied. "I'm just a man who refuses to watch someone die when I can stop it." Her expression softened in a way I had never imagined possible for a queen. We kept moving. Through fire. Through collapsing hallways. Through the smoke-filled corridors where the dying citadel wept molten tears. At one point, her fingers brushed my jawline. "Human," she whispered, almost trembling. "Your bravery is unlike anything I have known." Before I could respond, the ceiling above the final corridor cracked open. Flames poured in like a tidal wave of burning air. The exit, the last escape passage, was beyond a growing wall of fire. I didn't hesitate. I pulled Aileron closer, wrapped my arms tightly around her, and ran straight through the flames. She gasped, her face buried against my neck, the heat scorching my back as we broke through. The fire seared everything behind us, but on the other side was the open night sky, cold winds, and the royal landing platform where an evacuation shuttle waited. I collapsed to one knee, still holding her. She looked at me, stunned, breathing hard. "You walked through fire for me," she whispered. "You carried me when my own legs failed." I nodded weakly, my skin burned and my body screaming in pain. But she was alive. That was enough. The Queen's declaration. Her guards rushed to help her, but she raised a hand, stopping them. She didn't take her eyes off me. "None of you saved me," she said quietly. "He did." Her warriors bowed their heads, ashamed. Aileron stepped closer, her gaze shimmering with an emotion I couldn't decipher. She reached out and touched the burn marks on my arm with trembling fingers. "You risked everything for me," she murmured. "You carried me through death itself." Then she spoke the words that froze every guard, every soldier, every living being within earshot. "By the ancient laws of Cerathian bond, I choose you as my consort." My breath caught. Her guards snapped their heads up, eyes wide. Gasps echoed across the landing platform. What?" I stammered. Aileron stepped closer, her voice soft but firm. "In our culture, to carry the sovereign through fire is the sign of ultimate devotion. Sacred act. A symbol that the fates themselves have intertwined two souls." She pressed her forehead softly to mine. "And I accept that fate," she whispered. "You are mine, human. From this day forward, you walk beside me." I felt the world tilt. Me, a simple envoy, chosen as the consort of the Queen of an empire. She smiled, a rare, breathtaking expression. "Do not fear," she murmured. "You did not choose this. I chose you." Then, in front of her entire royal guard, she placed a hand on my heart. "My consort," she declared. "My equal." Ending a bond forged in fire. Recovery took weeks. Firemark salves and alien treatments patched me up, but some scars remained. Reminders of the night I carried a queen through ruins and flames. Aileron visited me every day. Not as a queen, but as a woman discovering someone who saw her not as a ruler, but as a person. One night, under the twin moons of Virilon, she sat beside me and spoke softly. "You changed the course of my life," she said, "and the fate of my empire." "I didn't mean to," I said. She smiled. "Sometimes destiny does not ask permission." She took my hand. Her grip was strong, warm, and steady. "You walked through fire with me in your arms," she whispered. "You gave me a future I might never have seen." Her eyes glowed softly as she leaned closer. "And for that, you are forever my consort." As her forehead touched mine again, I realized something. I didn't regret a single step through the flames, because those steps had brought me here, beside a queen who had chosen me not out of duty, but out of fate born in fire. And together we would rebuild her empire, and shape a future where a human and a queen ruled side by side.